I know it's been the practice for the last probably year plus that we do a reading that is related to the sermon topic, but I'm going off script today because some of you may know that today is Becky's last day with us. And so I was trying to think of or find a good inspirational quote for moving. I couldn't find anything that I really liked. So I decided to do this, and this is from Ecclesiastes. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. And I'm going to add to this, a time to stay and a time to go. Becky has been such an instrumental part of this fellowship that it's hard to imagine not having her here. And she is the first person that I had any conversation with when I came to fellowship for the first time. So this is a very, very bittersweet day. But we know that this is a new adventure, a new phase. It is time to make the move to Oregon and to spend as much time as possible with that grandchild. So our hearts go with you, our love goes with you. We wish you peace on this journey and know that you are always welcome back here any time. Yes. And we have something for you to take with you on your journey. Just one more thing to pack. Wow. But I'll slide that over there to you. And also the flowers on the chalice table are for you to take today as well. So Becky, thank you for everything you've done for us. We love you.
What kind of car are you driving today?
A little Honda Fit.
Okay. Rob, would you and Don go take the battery out of that? We light this chalice for the light of truth.
We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. We light this chalice for harmony of peace.
Our hymn is number 346. Come sing a song with me.
Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know you're mine. And I will bring you home, when home is hard to find. And
Time in our service to share our joys and sorrows with one another. If you have something you'd like to share with us, a joy or a sorrow, you're welcome to do that at this time. And Nick will bring you a microphone. And I want to begin I want to begin with a poem that was written for Renee Nicole Good, who was, most of you know who that was, who was killed on January 7th. When I think about how she's going to go down in history, I think of names like Harriet Tubman and Corrie ten Boom, it is, or Boom. Boom. And Martin Luther King and many others who broke the law and obstructed so-called justice by taking sides with those who were dehumanized and being brutalized. And I think that's the way that Renee is going to go down in history, as someone who stood up and stood for the right of justice in a society that's becoming highly unjust. So this was a poem written for her by Amanda Gorman, the National Youth Poet Laureate. They say she is no more, that her absence roars, blood blown like a rose, iced wheels flinched and froze. Now bare light of candles, dark fury of flowers. Pure howling of hymns, it is for us she arose. Somewhere in the pitch deep of our grief couches our power. The howl where we begin, straining upon the edge of the crooked crater of the worst of what we have been. Change is possible and all the greater when the labor and bitter anger of our neighbors is moved by the love and better angels of our nature. What they call death and void, we know is breath and voice. In the end, gorgeously endures in enormity. You could believe departed to be the dawn when the when the blank night has so long stood. But our brief-led angels will never be fully gone when they are forever and so fiercely good. And that good is capital G for Renee Good. Okay, anybody else have anything they'd like to share with us in the way of joy, sorrows, or celebrations, or concerns? Robin and then Jim. Nick.
I have a joy and a sorrow. The sorrow is that I had surgery last week for melanoma, and they had to go in and take out the lymph node, and the surgery was more extensive than I expected. The joy is the margins were clear, and so was the lymph node.
I have a sorrow. Our dear brother John Matthews is fading away pretty rapidly now. He's lost an incredible amount of weight, and he's in a hospital bed in his living room, just biding his time. So keep him and Sean in your thoughts.
Thank you, Robin.
Yeah, usually my stuff is half and half, like joy and sorrow. So Yeah, one of my first, I think our first service Derek and I came to was in an old building up 176, and Ernie was there, and we had a big Christmas feast, and Robin invited us, and was the beginning of UU in our lives. So I can speak for Derek, I think, too, in saying that this was the best kind of churchy thing either of us had done in our whole lives. And yeah, just appreciate the small community and the very caring people and the fun jobs to do and things. So we really enjoyed doing music, and I enjoyed treasuring and setting up stuff. So you've been great people, and I will remember you well as I wander across the country and spend time with my daughter and stepdaughter and baby granddaughter. So yeah, just life is full of options, and just now and then take an adventure that you haven't done before. So I'll miss you, I'll remember you fondly, and this will be my last time here. So thank you for being such a great community.
Come back and visit.
I will.
Thank you.
I will.
I have a joy I want to share. I don't know how many of y'all have been keeping up with the monks' March for Peace, but they came through South Carolina, and I was so proud of how my home state turned out and turned up for the monks. And Tom and I, on Monday, drove to Great Falls, South Carolina. If you've ever been to Great Falls, you know. If you haven't been to Great Falls, let me tell you, it is way out in the country. So we went way out in the country, and we watched the monks walk by, and it was a wonderfully moving experience. So it's very much the antithesis of the poem that Ernie just read. It's all about joy and peace and knowing that one step at a time you can have a positive impact on the world.
Kathy and I have a joy. Yesterday we went to a Martin Luther King celebration at a church on the east side of Tryon. And it was a wonderful experience. And a lady from Hendersonville, who is the president of the NAACP, gave a terrific talk. And one of the points of her talk was not about the suffering of which her race had gone through for years. It was about where we all are in the current state of affairs of our country on the political side. And as you may reflect back, for those who have been with UU for quite a while, Michael Carter, who used to be our minister, gave a terrific speech on Martin Luther celebration at the Fine Arts Center in Tryon. And that's what kind of spirited us to go, because we read it in the Daily Bulletin, and I said, Kathy, remember that we went to probably 2 or 3 years ago. So it was just a very enlightening experience.
Everybody know that in my heart. We rejoice together and we grieve together as one. Help us to remember that every human heart holds its own joys and sorrows. Now let's continue our service with our offerings. Now you're welcome to sing along with this song. Somos el barco. That's Spanish for in the same boat. We're all in the same boat together, but we're working together. So I learned this from Peter, Paul, and Mary. Where did you learn it from?
Ernie. The stream sings into the river sings into the sea. The sea sings into the boat that carries you and me. Somos el barco,
The boat we are sailing in was built by many hands. The sea we are sailing on, it touches every land. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navega en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. The voyage has been long and hard, and yet we're sailing still. This song can help us pull together if we only will. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navega en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. So with our hopes, we raise the sails to face the winds once more. And with our hearts, we chart the waters and never sailed before. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me.
Join with me, please, to the work of
This fellowship, which is leading in a tapestry of love and action we call community, we dedicate our lives, and these are our offerings.
Now we have some new members, and I'm going to ask them to come up. Jerry and Joy and Anita, come on up. After the ceremony, we're going to put them through the whipping line. Just kidding. No, after the ceremony, after the end of the service, I'd like for as many of you as can come out in the aisles, and we'll let them come up and you can welcome them into our fellowship.
Here in this fellowship, human beings have gathered for centuries, seeking a higher purpose and a deeper life than they could find alone. We are grateful today for each of you, that you have found your way here and that you have decided to make a commitment to this faith community. We hope that as members of this fellowship, you will allow yourselves to know and to be known, to minister and to be ministered unto, to love and to be loved by this congregation. We never really know what a combination of fate and friendship and good luck it is that brings certain people together in this world for any purpose. But we believe that membership in the fellowship calls each of us here to celebrate the fate that has drawn us together and to regard each one a spiritual friend and a potential teacher, even of occasional hard lessons.
The fellowships we form in our fellowship are based on needs of the soul, needs that render each of us vulnerable and therefore rely on each other's grace and goodness and generosity of spirit. As members of this fellowship, we pledge to be guardians of each other's spirits, to respect the ultimate privacy of each one's human struggle, and to believe in each other's inherent dignity. Finally, as members of this congregation, we know that we can always rely on the wisdom of our covenant, which reminds us of our true purpose in being together. Will the congregation please rise and join together with our newest church members in affirming the covenant. In the bonds of fellowship and love, we unite to cultivate reverence, to promote spiritual growth and ethical commitment, to minister to each other's needs and to those of humanity, to celebrate the sacred moments of life's passage and to honor wholeness of the heart or being. We welcome you into this community with all our hearts.
Yay. So to make it official, you now get to sign the official membership book.
You all may sit down. I chose two readings for us this morning. One reading, the reading from number 602 is from Taoism. Anybody in here familiar with Taoism? Okay, good. Anybody in here ever been to China? Hey, Dave and Robin? Jay, you've been to China? Okay. Did you run into any Taoist over there?
Not really.
So this is a reading from 602, if there is to be peace, and I will say, if there is to be peace in the world,
There must be peace in the nations.
if there is peace in the nations,
There must be peace in the cities.
if there is peace in the cities,
There must be peace between neighbors.
if there is peace between neighbors,
There must be peace in the home.
if there is to be peace in the home.
There must be peace in the heart.
Thank you. You know, I think if anyone taught us that, it was Martin Luther King Jr. that he led the civil rights movement based on nonviolence and peace. And my understanding of that is that if you don't have peace here within your own heart, you can't give it to the world. You can't give away what you don't have. And so my question to myself and to you is, do you have a sense of peace in your heart? The other thing that Martin Luther King reminded us of is that oftentimes we want peace, but we don't want justice. We just want to keep the peace, but we don't want justice. And I think that's what we're seeing play out in Minneapolis right now. We want to establish peace and law and order, but without any sense of the justice of how we are treating another human being. If you've ever read his letter from the Birmingham jail, he talks about justice as being, in essence, self-actualization. It's not about getting revenge like someone we know who seeks revenge. That's an old definition of justice, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. But that term has changed over time. And if you read his letter from Birmingham jail, he talks about justice being the fulfillment of a person's potential, a fairness, so that everyone in society is fulfilling their potential and playing their part in making society whole. And so that's his sense of what justice is all about. Anyway, so peace in the heart. The other reading is really goes along with my message today from Taoism, and it's give us the spirit of the child, number 664. Give us the spirit of the child. Give us the spirit of the child, give us the child who lives within.
The child who trusts, the child who imagines, the child who sings.
The child who receives without reservation, the child who gives without judgment.
Give us a child's eyes, that we may receive beauty, precious as day, like the sunrise.
A Give us a child's ears that we may hear the music of mythical times.
Give us a child's heart, that we may be filled with wonder and delight.
Give us a child's faith that we may be cured of our cynicism.
Give us the spirit of a child, who is not afraid to need, who is not afraid to love.
Thank you. So these two men were camping out in the wilderness of Alaska, and suddenly a grizzly bear came up on their campsite and they ran. And the first guy outran the second guy. And so the second guy says to the first guy, he said, I hope this grizzly bear has religion. And sure enough, the grizzly bear caught up with him, pinned him down on the ground, and then the grizzly bear raised his head toward heaven and folded his hand and said, God is great, God is good, let us thank him for our food. I think that might fit a little bit with my message on Taoism and the notion of P'u. It's pronounced P'u. Anybody ever heard of P'u before? And if you've read the book Winnie the Pooh, there's a book P'u, I think it's called Taoism, the Taoism of P'u. And if you're familiar with P'u, just this innocent little bear that gets himself in some struggles sometimes, but he's innocent, he's sort of pure, and of course he has all those characters around him. Thomas was reminding me, don't forget Tigger too. But anyway, I have a friend of mine, in fact, he visits here, Reverend Earl Rabb, and he said to a group of us the other day, he was rereading, he was going to go read the Winnie the Pooh books. But anyway, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about P'u and the Taoist understanding of nature and how that conflicts with the way that we in the West have typically understood nature, particularly human nature. And you know me, I'm going to have to find out where a word came from, so I have to look up nature and study its etymology. It comes from a Latin word that means to be born. But then over time, the meaning of nature changed into the word we use as inherent. The word we use inherent, intrinsic, just a part of our very makeup. Does that word inherent ring a bell to anybody in terms of our principles? In terms of our Unitarian Universalist principles? Our very first principle? The inherent worth and dignity of every person. And even before I get into that, how that notion of the inherent worth and dignity of every person in terms of their nature conflicts with, kind of opposes this whole notion of P'u that comes out of Taoism and what it says about nature. Now to do that, I'm going to use some visuals for you. I'm going to use 2 blocks of wood and try to convey to you what Taoism is all about. Now, I cut this piece of wood out of the woods in our backyard the other day, and it's a freshly cut piece of wood, and it's pure, it's healthy. If you think of it in terms of human nature, not the nature of a tree, but if you think of it in terms of human nature, you say, well, it's innocent. It has a lot of potential. It's open. It's pristine, which means untouched by human hands. And then, according to Taoism, we're born with this pure nature, and then society and life and culture applies the chisel, starts chiseling away. All those external forces that chisel on this very pure, innocent nature that we are, according to Taoism, at the core of this pure nature. Now the chisel that's applied may be positive, but then again it may be a negative chisel applied to it. It just depends on, everything from our parents to where we're born to our peers to all those external chisels that chisel away. Are any of you familiar with Plato's concept of education? Plato's concept of education was that the beautiful sculpture is already in the wood, and the good teacher only has to chip away discard all what's around it and expose what is already there potentially in the wood or in the stone or whatever the teacher's cutting away to expose this. And that's very similar to Taoism because it's saying, the beauty's there. Plato's saying, we know all we need to know. And the good teacher's just going to expose what we already know. And so this notion of, the beauty is there in that pure essence of who you are. Your nature, it's in your DNA, it's in your genetics. In essence, you have this potential, this incredible potential to be. That's Taoism. Now this is another piece of wood that I cut out of a tree in the backyard, and as you can tell, the tree was rotted. Now this piece of wood represents a dogma. Call it a dogma of original sin. Dogma of original sin. By your nature, your very makeup, you are corrupt. There's nothing good about your nature at all. And the only thing you can do with this piece of rotten wood is you can save it by a certain confession. And until you do that, everything you do is going to be rotten. And that theory of human nature originated not with Jesus, but with Paul, the apostle. You need to understand that. Jesus never said human beings were rotten at the core. He never mentioned the fall. He never mentioned Adam and Eve. In fact, to his followers, Jesus said, "You are the light. You are the light. You have the power. You have the power and the wisdom to live your life from within your own being." Now, you all know me well by now that I don't really appreciate the teachings of Paul, but I love the teachings of Jesus. But this doctrine of original sin, and really when you think about it, it's just really a way to control people. It's just a way to control people. You are rotten at the core, and I have the only medicine that can cure it. You have to go through me, and it's going to cost you. And that doctrine of the corruption of human nature and the being rotten at the core really took off after the Apostle Paul and was developed further by theologians like St. Augustine. Now, St. Augustine, he was a pretty good guy, but he took his own personal experience and he made it the experience of everyone. And this is what Augustine said: "Through the sin of the first man, which came from his free will, our nature has been corrupted and ruined. through the sin of the first man, Adam, which came from free will, our nature became corrupted and ruined by a rotten. Okay, it didn't stop there. It developed further. Here's John Calvin, years later. This is a quote. Hereditary depravity and corruption of our nature, diffused through all the parts of the human soul, rendering us obnoxious to the divine wrath, and producing in those works which the Scripture calls works of the flesh. Their whole nature is a seedbed of sin. I think that's one of the most poisonous doctrines and dogmas that's ever been on the face of this planet. And again, it was a way to control the masses of people and herd us like animals into this institution. Now you can tell I have a bone to pick with that, right? I do. Because, I mean, I was raised as a United Methodist Christian. And I developed a terrible inferiority complex when I was beginning in my teens. And I lacked self-confidence. I lacked a sense of self-worth. And I felt really, really inferior, you know. And this dogma simply just played into that. It was a way of saying the way you feel about yourself is proof of your sinful nature. And so, I mean, it was reinforced by this dogma of original sin. So I really had, you know, it's taken me years and years and years to finally realize I've been beating myself up on the head with a psychological billy club, saying you're not worth anything, you're unworthy, you're corrupt, you don't need to feel good about yourself, you don't need to feel confident and worthy. The more you beat yourself down, the more that pleases some person up in heaven. Let me tell you, that's wrong. And it was so enlightening for me to discover Taoism. And I'm very attracted to Taoism. And to me, it's just a total contrast between West and East. And it all has to do with that notion of nature. That I really believe when I look at the teachings of Jesus, that he didn't want to start a new religion. He didn't want to reform an old religion. He just wanted to say to us, you don't need religion. You need yourself. You need to go into the core of your being and find that spark of divinity that you are and live from that core. Because you have everything in you to bring to the world around you if you live from, you know, Jesus, Bonhoeffer says, we don't live at the center, we live from it. Why would Jesus bother telling people you are the light if they're rotten at the core? So I'm very attracted to Taoism. I'm very attracted to this whole notion of P'u, that in your nature, it's in your DNA. You don't need some priest or guru. Just go within, find that core, live from that core. It's not easy. You know, that's not an easy thing to do. We're so bombarded by stuff out here that it's constantly distracting us from finding that center and living from it. You know, we still find some of that in the older layers of the Hebrew Bible. Some of my favorite verses from the Hebrew Bible. This one, as a deer, there's a nature creature for you, a deer. As a deer longs for flowing streams, another source of nature, flowing streams. So as this nature being longs for this nature thing, this flowing stream, the psalmist says, so longs my soul for thee, O God. So it's a natural longing, not because we're rotten at the core, but because we're pure at the core. A natural, impulsive longing to connect with the holy, with the divine that we find in nature. Why we love nature so much, you know. There's a connection there. My other favorite reading from the Hebrew Bible, deep calls to deep at the sound of the cataracts. Now, cataracts are not this. Their cataracts are flowing water. So the depth in us responding to the depths that we see in nature. So I love this notion of Taoism, is to get into the flow of nature from your core and just flow with that nature and go with that nature and trust it among all things. Trust that this will guide you. So, Winnie the Pooh, to find that child within us, to find that being within us that is pure, that has this potential to grow, to experience the spirit of becoming. So I end again with our first principle. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Now that's all I'm going to say about that. Becky's going to sing our song for us.
Lovely maiden, I'm wondering how your heart feels these days. With a fine man, a baby, and a pup. 'Twas a short time ago, those days of longing came your way. Will I find someone with whom to sleep and sup? Gentleman, so full of passions, of adventures in the hills, did you ever think you'd love a babe this much? That sometimes slow is better for taking in this world, that three hearts all at once might touch. One and one makes three. It's the magic of a child. Family just like that, all new and wild. Who is this tiny soul unfolding all the while? It's a simple time for you, just love and smile. Friends and family gathered here, what a wonder all you are, giving freely of your time, your gifts, your love. If there comes darker valley, in their long path ahead.
will help them see the brighter skies above. 1 and 1 makes 3. It's the magic of a child, a family just like that. All new and wild. Who is this tiny soul unfolding all the while? It's a simple time for you, just love and smile. 1 and 1 makes 3. It's the magic of a child, a family just like that. All new and wild. Who is this tiny soul unfolding all the while? It's a simple time for you, just hold and smile. It's a simple time for you, just love and smile.
Thank you, Becky. That's beautiful. Did you write that, Michelle?
I did.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Any final thoughts before we come to an end here? Questions, comments, or queries or opposing viewpoints? Yes, Janice,
I like the visuals.
you like the visuals? I mean,
Yes.
this? Okay.
That's the way Michelangelo worked.
Chipping away.
Things, yeah, well, he thought there was, well, he assumed there was something in there, and there was.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah. And let's assume that what's in there is pure and good and innocent. Jerry?
I just want to let you know that I've been attending services for UUs for 20 years, and today I'm more comfortable than ever.
Well, we're glad to know that. Thank you, Jerry. Okay. Let's extinguish the chalice, sing our song, and then if you all would, I don't want you to feel like you have to, but if we could just kind of come out in the aisles out here and let our new members, Joy and Jerry and Anita, if you all would come down here. Would you all mind coming down here, please? Where's Anita? She's hiding out in the corner. And let's join hands and sing our, wait a minute, let's extinguish the chalice first. We extinguish the flame of this chalice. Let us follow the light of truth until we meet again. Spirit of light, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit